such a high chance. They were in two separate sacs. They had two separate placentas. So we were just pretty convinced that we were going to have fraternal twins. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that magical little subscribe button and like and share this video. So here we are.
Basically just woke up. Sort of, except 6 hours ago. So
We've already lived an entire life and it's still just the morning.
Right. The babies are here sleeping on us.
Yeah.
And
we're like really like honest and real, like
so vulnerable right
just
now.
like really authentic right now.
What are we talking about today?
What are we talking about today? So basically just
how we found out that our twins were identical.
We're supposed to say that at the same time, like identical, you know? So yeah.
It all started.
This
whole identical, non-identical thing started when they were like, when we were still with our OB or something. And
right.
She was like, or it was like the first ultrasound.
When the first ultrasound at 9 weeks, yeah.
When they saw that there was twins. No, at 9 weeks, or maybe it was the one after that.
Well, at 9 weeks, they knew that it was twins, and they could clearly see they were in two separate sacs.
Which apparently most of the time means that they're fraternal, so we were...
It's like an 80% chance that they're fraternal.
Yeah, so we were like, obviously kind of thinking it was going to be that. So we were just like, whatever, we didn't know the gender either, we didn't want to find out, so then that left it open. You know?
Such a high chance. They were in two separate sacs, they had two separate placentas, so we were just pretty convinced that we were going to have fraternal twins. Well, oh yeah, so then I took a test. I think that was like 10 weeks or something. It was the genetic blood testing. They had checked off like in the office that I did want to find out the genders, but we didn't. I was sort of like, well, do we? You know, it's twins. Like maybe we do want to find out. So then I said, well, why don't you just send in an envelope with the sex/gender on it, and then we can decide whether we want to open or not. And we like poured over the idea of whether or not to open this envelope for like so many weeks.
I didn't want to, but Caitlin was like all wanting to. Caitlin was like didn't want to, and then she wanted to, and then she didn't want to again, and I kept like trying to keep up. And
you know when you're so back and forth on something, it's just probably not the right thing to do. And like, if we were going to do it, we would have just done it. We would have just opened it and found out. So we reached a point where I was like, no, we've had too much going back and forth. We should just not open the envelope. So then...
And not knowing that it was going to say whether they were fraternal or
no
identical.
No idea. I didn't even know the test could tell that.
Either.
No clue. No idea.
So
then...
We just went along.
Went
about
along with
pregnancy.
And then I left my OB, and then we were, you know, just sort of like waiting to find out, basically. And then when the babies were born, we were like...
It was two girls.
But
then, like, you see there was, like, obvious differences right away that we were like...
We were, like, kind of convinced that they were fraternal. Yeah.
Because we were like, they're
We just
different.
thought, because our sort of the lens that we were wearing was that since there was such a high chance of them being fraternal because there was two separate sacs and because there was two separate placentas, the lens that we were wearing was kind of like we were seeing fraternal twins.
Yeah,
that's sort of what we were seeing.
And because like they were, you just look for the differences in them to begin with, so you're like, oh, they're different. Yeah. Not knowing that identical twins are also
gonna have
some differences, like even though their DNA is the same.
Yeah. We
were like convinced they're fraternal, and we're like, telling everyone they're fraternal, and no, two girls fraternal.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh wow, whatever.
And I mean, they were like really, really, really similar looking, but we were just so convinced. Again, I think it was just because it's that like perspective, like when you see something through this particular perspective lens, and that's what you choose to see. And so we were like choosing to see them as being fraternal, which is so funny.
But we were just assuming because we didn't think we had any other way of finding out. I don't even know.
Yeah.
if we would have ever found out if we didn't have this piece of paper. So
potentially not. Yeah.
So, and I did look at the piece of paper like the day after they were born. And
I was still.
Oh wow, there's 2 girls.
He's like, female. Oh my god, like that's what we would have found out, because we've been like, seriously, this envelope was held so much energy because we were like, should we open it? Should we not open it? And I actually had it in my underwear drawer for like a few months, and then so I was looking at it every day, and then we moved it. I hid it in like the back of Safi's closet because I was like, hey, I can't see this anymore if we're not going to open it. So finally, it was so funny when Matisse opened it. I think it was on the day that they were born, though. You were like, yeah, Paul, female. And we were like,
and then I put it back away,
and I never looked at it because they had just been born. So I was like super in like, just like, you know, newborn stage.
And then 2 weeks later,
we were like figuring out.
No, we were applying for their birth certificate and stuff, and their names. It took us 2 weeks to choose their names, and then we're looking at the paper, and Caitlin's like looking at the paper, and she's like, what does it say? Monozygotic?
Yeah, and then it says identical,
and we were
beside it. We were like,
wait, what? We were like, is this paper correct? Because we were so convinced that like,
they were fraternal. Like, we were just so convinced.
So we were like, I guess it took us like almost 3 or 4 days to like really believe that they were identical.
Even like a few weeks, like when we would tell people, yeah, actually we just kind of found out that they are identical, but I was like, but I'm not totally sure yet. And then it was like, since that was like the new lens that we were looking through, it was just so obvious that they were identical twins. Yeah, so obvious.
You realize that like fraternal means that you're like completely different.
Like you'd have like a different hair color and different eye color, whatever, all sorts of things. Like they are identical. And then
well, and they started to look more and more similar as they were like growing, because one baby was slightly smaller, one was slightly bigger, and it was all these things. And then once they filled out,
that was how we told them apart.
Now like they're very similar
really
with
identical.
Some slight differences, but
we can
just enough that we can tell them apart.
Yeah, but it's still like they're really, really close. And so that's sort of like the joke of our lives right now is like, oh, who do you have? Actually, who do I have? Oh, I have Rumi. But we felt like it was so funny to
and
be
everyone we were like, hey everyone, we have like an announcement, so actually they are identical.
Yeah.
Like,
we told all our family, they were like, oh, okay. And then you're like,
oh yeah, they are because
really
like
somewhere.
The chances of them being identical with the separate sac and you know, a fused
separate
placenta.
Yeah, they had two separate placentas that had been fused together, so it was like this massive heart-shaped placenta. So yeah, it was just like a real trip. It's like, okay, they're actually identical now. And like, it's just so crazy. Like, I just like, you obviously identical twins, like in your life, like you see them and you're like, oh, whoa, it's like 2 people that look the exact same. And it's such a trip that we have them now, because it's actually like the coolest thing ever, because they're gonna like have their own little personalities, and just, oh my god, it's so fascinating that these two humans look the same, but they have completely different souls, which is just like so cool. So I'm so excited to like
I can't believe we made we're in like the redhead ginger club and the identical twin club now. Like, yeah, we just
straight up
different, you know.
We're just different. I felt kind of dumb though, like when we were like, oh yeah, they're identical.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, it doesn't matter.
I'm the one who's dumb. I didn't look at the paper.
Like, you're just like, how did we not see that right away? But yeah, I think it just like right away you see the differences, and now they're like, oh my god, becoming more and more closer together. It's gonna be interesting to see how they grow up and see if it stays like. Can identical twins like look different though, or does identical mean they look identical? Because I've actually read that if they're fraternal, that they can still look identical. Yeah. I have heard that.
I don't know about all that.
It's twins. It's like a whole other world that you just don't know about unless you know about them.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and thanks so much for watching, and sign us off.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
Peace.